So this video is about strategic reading and why it's important. You all know how to read, right? You wouldn't have got into Rollins if you don't know how to read. So if you know how to read, why am I telling you about strategic reading? Well, there are three reasons. The first is that this course is about recorded information, about written information. We read what we write. So in some ways, this is the subject of the course. The second reason is that reading's not as simple as you think. I love to read simply. It's one of my great pleasures. But that's not active reading. It's actually called passive reading. It's important, but it's not what you're being asked to do in this course or what you'll be asked to do at Rollins during the rest of your time here. Finally, I've taught a version of this course since 2009. And one of the aspects of the course that the students have struggled with most is the readings. Understanding the readings and then turning those readings into their kind of ideas that can be discussed in class discussion. So that's what we're going to be working on. Strategic reading. Strategic reading is reading with a purpose. And at Rollins you'll have all kinds of purposes. Your professors will ask you to do reading for a class discussion. You'll be reading for research, for assignments. And you'll be reading in preparation for exams. And I hope as well you'll continue to read for pleasure. You may not know it, but you probably have already been introduced to strategic reading. Certainly in elementary school you probably were, and perhaps even you got to practice it during high school. But college is different. At college you have much more control over your own learning. You get to decide what strategies work for you, not just the ones that the teacher tells you to do. So I'm going to introduce you to some strategies today, and you get to decide when and how you get to use them. All of these strategies begin with surveying. Read the title of the work. Count how many pages you have to read. Look for any subtitles, any structure to the reading. All of this will give you an opportunity to budget your time effectively. How long is it going to take you to do this reading? It's also going to give you important clues for understanding the reading, some context for understanding the reading. So once you've surveyed, here are some strategies that I'm going to want you to use during this course, and I hope you'll find useful later on at Rollins. The first one is underlining and highlighting. They're basically the same, underlining and highlighting. You decide how you want to do it. This is the most common strategy. The idea is to underline the key points, ideas, arguments, facts in the reading. The very act of underlining helps you understand and retain what you've read. Being able to go back and review the underlined information is a shortcut to recalling that information. But the research shows that its effectiveness depends on you being able to identify what the key points of the reading are. So if you don't have a lot of background in a particular topic, you might find that difficult. Also, underlining tends to work with shorter readings. It gets more difficult, more cumbersome if you're underlining large readings. The second technique is annotating. It's very common as well. You'll note key points of the reading in the margins. Done well, it enables you to build a summary of the reading just by going back and writing down those annotations that you've made. It also gives you an index to the reading that may enable you to quickly get back to a section of the text that you want to review. Annotation helps you understand the underlying structure of the reading. And annotation and underlining can work very well together. The third one is outlining and mapping. This works well for visual learners, but it takes a little bit more investment of time. So you might want to save this for more important tasks like doing research for a paper in which you need to map out one reading and its relationship to other readings, or it may help you with review for a test, for instance. The process is exactly as it's described. You create an outline of the reading. Major headings like introduction, methods used, results, conclusions, or perhaps a chronological outline. whatever the structure of the paper, of the reading demands. And then you basically note major points within that outline. Mapping is doing that spatially. So maybe you organize things in a hierarchy with a major point with subheadings underneath, or points in relationship to each other. And as I say, that can work well to link different readings that either agree with each other or disagree with each other. Outlining and mapping can help you with complicated and longer readings. The final strategy is one that I'm going to advise you not to use in this course because it takes too much investment, but I want to let you know about it and the fact that you may find it useful later on, particularly for high-stakes exams that you might have to prepare for. And that's called SQ3R. Survey, question, read, recite, and review. SQ3R. I'm actually going to include a link to a YouTube video that explains exactly how you do this. So if you want to learn more, go there. So there you have it. Those are 4 techniques for strategic reading. They're not all going to work for every reading, and you need to choose which ones work for you in which circumstances. Remember, you're in control of your learning.